Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker. Well, renters and landlords in my community have been completely ignored by the residential tenancy branch under the tainted incoming premier who oversaw the worst decline in housing affordability in a generation. In Kelowna, a 19-year-old woman came to me after she was physically assaulted by her tenant. Despite the fact that the police charged and placed a restraining order on her tenant, the tenant was still allowed to live in her house. What should have been urgently resolved at the residential tenancy branch instead took months. This woman was left alone to deal with her assailant, who later broke the windows of that same house with a baseball bat. To the Housing Minister, can the Housing Minister explain why the NDP would force a landlord to keep renting to someone who physically attacked them without any support?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there is, of course, a new compliance and enforcement unit in the residential tenancy branch, so landlords and tenants have a place to go when disputes of the kind the honourable member has brought forward are addressed. There are new rules, of course, allowing landlords to seek increases in rent in certain circumstances where necessary capital expenditures must be made in order to ensure the house remains habitable. Yet, notwithstanding that, we have, in the interest of housing affordability, attempted to provide a rent cap of 2%, whereas the honourable opposition would have made it a 7.4%, I believe. Mr. Speaker, the residential tenancy branch has had an increase in staff lately. The residential tenancy branch is aware of the need for change. They've been swamped by work, as you can well imagine, in this difficult period, and they're making the necessary changes to adapt to those realities.